Here we go.
Let's do
Play
it.
this.
That was terrible.
That was crap. That was garbage. This place sucks.
Overreaction
Mondays.
Monday.
All right, Overreaction Monday. Chris Brockman is going to read off a headline based on some of the sports. Is it all NFL? You mixing it up here?
No, it's not all NFL.
Okay, so from this very busy sports weekend, he throws out a headline. We decide whether it's an overreaction or not.
Okay.
Okay, first up, Chris, go for it.
They got smoked this weekend, and he got benched. Blake Bortles will not end the season as the Jaguars' starting quarterback.
Overreaction or not? What do you think?
Overreaction.
I agree.
Too much money is invested in him. You have to give a guy a second chance in terms of the benching. How will you respond? Because that's the true sign of your character and how you deal with adversity. We all get knocked down is if you get up, and they're going to give him a chance to get up.
The only reason why he wouldn't be the starting quarterback for the Jaguars in Week 17 is two reasons. One, that he is injured. Two, that they have gone ahead and made a particularly bold maneuver in the next week plus, because the trade deadline is next week.
Yeah.
There's always that conversation about Eli. Let's see if the Giants get blown out tonight and fall to 1-6. I think Bortles is going to be the starting quarterback on NFL Network with me and the Game Day Morning crew calling the game against the Eagles. By the way, that's a promo I just worked in.
Love how you did it.
Okay.
Seamless.
I think Bortles starts this week in London, where he's the Jerry Lewis of quarterbacks. Everybody thinks he's the greatest quarterback ever there because he balls out in London. I think they're going to put him back in there this week.
Yeah, but do not swap out a Blake Bortles for Eli Manning. If I'm on that team, I'm like, you just painted our problem different, but it's the same problem. That's lipstick on this pig.
No, I know that basically Bortles' feet is what sometimes gets him through the day. But don't you think that Eli Manning would improve things over there? You don't think
Improve
so?
over Bortles? I don't know. He doesn't even come in with the reputation now that you will have to respect and revere, player to player. You know, he's protected in New York, two-time MVP and that legacy. But right now, I think enough of the guys on the collective have talked about Eli Manning and said, can't get you the ball, man. Shell-shocked in the pocket. Can't extend plays. Can't get off script. That's today's NFL. I don't think that he will walk in and get the love and the leash that he deserves.
So that's an overreaction from both this seat and Marcellus Wiley's. What's next over there, Chris?
Philadelphia Eagles will miss the playoffs.
I think that's an overreaction.
Definitely overreaction. They're only 2 games back in the division with Washington lead, and they play Washington twice going forward.
They do.
You already won the head-to-head against Dallas. Easy to spin that one if I'm in the locker room and say, hey, we're fine. We just need to get this hangover behind us and let's get rolling.
What is the hangover, though, right? I mean, because it was whatever that is. We saw it in the fourth quarter. They were up by 17-0.
Yeah.
And then here comes 21-17. They couldn't stop Cam, who was just dynamite in the fourth quarter. That was a huge win for Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, every hangover is different. Depends on what you had. And if you look at this team, what they had was an underdog mentality, wearing the dog mask, and no one respects us. And then the offseason, after you become Super Bowl champions, everyone felt like they arrived. Everyone felt like we're the ones now that's going out there as the predators. They responded better when they felt like they were the prey, and they just start talking trash. And it's between the ears stuff. You know, don't feel like you have arrived in the NFL at any moment, especially when you're a champion, when you don't get everyone's best.
All right, what else do you have over there, Chris?
Let's go to Minnesota. Adam Thielen is the best wide receiver in football.
That's not an overreaction. I'm gonna take that. He's tremendous.
He is.
He's terrific. The
He
numbers
is.
back it up. He makes every catch. He catches every throw his way.
Best receiver in football?
I'll take it.
I'm not an overreaction, you're right. But I wouldn't, for my money, I still take a Julio Jones, despite the production issues at time, and that's more of a Matt Ryan conversation than Julio Jones. Antonio Brown, I still like him, but Thielen's right there. So how about that? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Des Bryant was right there. It comes fast. It could go up fast, go down fast. But Thielen's tier 1 with the other 2 guys.
So not an overreaction, but an argument.
But an argument, yeah.
Okay.
Don't put him at 1, no.
Okay.
Don't put him at 1.
What do you have over there,
The
Chris?
Saints are the second best team in the NFC behind the Rams.
That's not an overreaction. I'll take it. Now, obviously, this is gonna be decided this coming Sunday night when the Saints and Vikings play one another. I assume that's the other team that you're talking about. Carolina could be thrown in the mix. You could throw maybe Green Bay in the mix. I wouldn't take Washington over the Saints right now.
Yeah,
I say
not
that the Saints are the
overreaction.
second best team.
Look, the Rams have to play someone. I think there's a cliff between them and the other teams, whether it's Saints or Vikings. But Vikings played them tough.
A cliff, huh?
Yeah, I think there's a cliff. The Rams are still semi-mash unit. Guys are falling left to right, and some guys are still trying to play through those same injuries. But no Talib still. Cooper Kupp, we don't know the extent of his injuries. Farrell Cooper, a lot of guys that they're going to count on. January football. Haven't given them full effort just yet because of injury. Their squad.
By the way, we're going to find over the next 2 weeks. Saints' next 2 games at Minnesota, home for the Rams.
Yeah, there you go. See what happens in the NFC.
Man, the scheduling makers are going to – the Rams will earn every last bit of it. The Rams took on Minnesota, beat them already. They're taking on Green Bay at home this week. Mm-hmm. They go at New Orleans. Then they play Kansas City and Mexico City.
Ooh, we got to cross the border.
They play Philadelphia at home.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
The only team that's missing on this list is New England, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's how it's going to play out. AFC, NFC, it looks like those are the 2 teams to beat. Chargers have something to say about that as well.
Chris, another one over there, please.
This will be Jason Garrett's last season as Cowboys head coach if they do not make the playoffs.
We're both looking at each other. Who's going to go first? I'll go first. That is not an overreaction.
You think this is it?
If they don't make the playoffs this year, this division is ready to be taken. They have a defense
They do.
that is no joke. Jalen Smith is balling out. Van Der Esch was a terrific pick. I know a lot of folks were like, where's Ridley? We need a wide receiver. Van Der Esch and that kid and those front four is no joke also. They've got Byron Jones on the back end. They should be able, if they score 3 touchdowns, if they score 17 to 21 points, they should win more than not. And you've got Zeke back there. How is Dak suddenly so useless sometimes? It really is. I understand they don't have people outside the numbers from time to time that we can talk about, but they should win this division this year.
They should. And that's the conversation. Is it the coach or is it Dak Prescott? That's the conversation. For me, it's interesting if you look at Dak by the numbers, has never proved consistently that he can be an elite quarterback under these new rules. A guy who's mentally conservative, doesn't pull the trigger, as Tony Romo kept pointing out, thankfully, is a little slower with the eyes than you desire for an elite quarterback, missing some receivers that are getting separation, are open. But
isn't that coachable, though?
I would assume so. I would hope so. But this is Dak's 3rd year, and he was thrown to the fire. So it's not like this is a young 3rd-year player. This is a guy that you would expect a little more out of, to do things on his own, regardless of what's trying to hold him back. We'll see.
Well, you didn't make it to FS1 sitting on the fence. Is that an overreaction or not?
Jason Garrett stays beyond this year, so I think
it's
that's
an overreaction.
Overreaction.
Can you sneak one more in here, Chris?
Yeah,
About
the
2
Michigan
minutes plus?
Wolverines are the best team in the Big Ten.
No, that's an overreaction.
What did he say?
The Michigan Wolverines are the best team in the Big Ten. That's
Best
an overreaction.
team in the Big Ten.
That's an
Yeah,
overreaction.
that's overreaction. Not yet. You still got Ohio State's come up, what, November 6th?
It's Penn State after a bye.
Yeah.
They're going to kick the crap out of bye, okay? And then it comes Penn State. Then they've got Indiana and Rutgers in some form of one of the order.
Yeah.
And then Ohio State.
Yeah.
But they have the ability to be that. They have the ability to be that.
Mm-hmm. You're pumped, huh? You been out there yet?
I have not
Not
been
this
out
year?
there yet because I'm too busy doing the Sunday job.
Yep.
But I'm pumped. Last 2 weeks have been particularly satisfying.
Especially after they tried to write off Harbaugh earlier this year after that Notre Dame game. It was coming.
It is.
Yeah. Respond.
Do you have one last quick one?
Yeah, last one. The Lakers are 0-2. They will miss the playoffs this year.
Overreaction. They're making the playoffs. Still the second best team in the West.
Second best team in the West?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and once again, that cliff is there. Golden State, then Lakers going to be second best.
I think it's an overreaction they missed the playoffs, but it's an overreaction they're the second best team in the West right now.
Okay. Well, OKC's off to a sluggish start. No.
Don't sleep
West
on New
Coast.
Orleans now.
New Orleans is
Don't
squad.
sleep on Utah.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the Nuggets.
I give you Utah out of that group, but New Orleans will find a way to implode.
Okay.
They will find a
Houston
way
and Portland, the 2 teams that beat you.
All right.
Yeah. Good point.
That's true, too. Marcellus Wiley, catch him every day with Whitlock on FS1 on Speak for Yourself. And go get this man's book, please.
Please do, man.
You bet. Please go get this man's book. Never Shut Up, Marcellus Wiley.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.